Welcome to another episode of the $5 Million Project. This is probably the most excited I've been throughout the life cycle of this project and this company, and we're pretty much 2 years in now. The idea was first sort of formulated back in May 2019, so it's been a long while coming, but we're so close to being ready to go live, and all everything we're doing now is those last little bits in order to get it ready to push out to clients. And for me, that means whilst I'm incredibly excited, there's also a bit of nerves starting to creep in. And there's no real reason for the nervousness because the feedback from the demonstrations and everything we've been running has been really, really, really positive. But I think trying to rationalize this is a little bit like if you've been preparing for a wedding or preparing for a marathon. All the preparation happens, and then as you get closer and closer to the actual event itself, the nerves start to creep in. But for me, I've really been focusing my energy on the excitement rather than the nerves, and it hasn't been particularly hard because I'm getting busier and busier and busier. And there's so many things to juggle outside of the actual development of the product itself that it's a full-time job. There's so much to be doing. So this episode I was going to talk to you about the software development process, how to have organized meetings and that side of things. But I actually think it's more important and more helpful to talk about everything we're doing now just to be ready for that day. And I've kind of touched on some of these subjects before, but they're a lot more real now, they're happening. And I want to explain how even though there's a lot of preparation that's been going on historically, there's a lot of prioritization that you have to do, and there's still going to be a whole heap of work in that final month or so. And you've just got to be okay with that. So there are 4 core things that I would like to walk you through quickly today. The first one is our pricing model and how we came to the model that we've got. Included in that is agreements and getting ready to receive payments. Our marketing strategy, what we've been doing around that and the considerations we've been needing to take, and our approach to onboarding, so that what I've needed to prepare, what I've needed to get ready so that the customer journey when they do come on board is as good as it possibly can be. So we'll start with pricing. It might surprise you to know that we're still thinking about pricing and that it wasn't sorted out a long, long while ago. The reality was it's been sorted out for 6 to 9 months, I would guess. But as you get a little bit closer to actually starting to talk to clients about pricing, you start finding things that need questioning or refining. And one really, really good example of this is we've decided on a per user cost. Now we could have done user brackets, so 10 to 20 users is this cost, whereas instead we're going to charge for each user that comes into the platform. For me, that just seems a fairer way of doing it, so that you're not sat in, say, the 10 to 20 bracket with 11 people but paying for up to 20. So that's the reason for choosing that piece. The reason we charge more as you get more users is simply the bigger the organization, generally the more complex the solution and more delivery and support that is actually needed to help with that account. However, the per user model does come with some issues, well, potential issues anyway. So if you go to the lower end of the scale, and let's say we've got a customer who's got 1 user, they could be paying 1 user cost, but the amount of time and effort required from us is probably reasonably comparable with a 5 or even a 10 user organization. So you can see immediately how that's not particularly fair for this organization to be paying significantly more, but both getting the same level of service and support. So what we've done to get around that is we've introduced a minimum cost for the platform. So that means that even if you're a 1-seat customer, you're going to need to pay the equivalent of 5 seats. That's going to be our minimum to make sure that you're comparable with others on the platform. It also means we're not going to, for want of a better word, waste our time trying to support customers that aren't core and aren't adding to sort of our long-term strategy. Customers have to be serious and have to be able to pay a certain amount of money in order to come into the Roy platform itself. So that's pricing. Relatively simple. We're happy. We're having good conversations. No one has raised any major dramas or issues or concerns around the price structure that we've chosen. The other couple of bits are obviously preparing to receive payments and agreements. Agreements, again, they've taking care of themselves historically. I have spoken about it before. Through the various directors in the company, we've received lots of agreements over time. So we've simply gone through and picked the bits that we like and feel are relevant, produced a new agreement that makes sense for us, and the next stage is just to have it reviewed professionally to make sure there's no issues in there. And the same comes from receiving payments. One of the big decisions we've taken is we don't want to be one of those organisations that insists that a customer must pay us in, let's say, US dollars and is not GST registered locally. So we want to have an entity registered in every country we trade in so that our customers can pay us in their local currency and everything is nice and smooth from that perspective. So all we've really needed to do there is make sure we've got companies set up in each of those territories. It does mean there's quite a bit of work to be done from a tax perspective down the line, but because I already run businesses in multiple geographies, I'm fairly used to how that operates, so it's not a big drama from that perspective. Okay, so the next one to talk about is onboarding. Again, most of the onboarding work has been done. The big challenge with both that and also the customized templates or the ready-to-use templates within the platform is it's very, very hard for me to take screenshots and film videos of how to do things at this stage, because every time I log into the platform, a small piece has changed. So if I film a video today, in 4 weeks' time, there'll be a couple of things that are different and the chances are I've got to redo it. So I've done as much prep as I can do for onboarding and also for the templates, written them all out. But I'm very, very aware in those last few weeks before go live, I am going to be incredibly busy, frantic, putting together the onboarding documents and putting together and testing all of our templates to make sure they're perfect for our customers. I'm comfortable with that. There's no other way around it that I can figure anyway. But what I want to do is just make sure everything else is taken care of so I can focus all my energy on that and obviously onboarding customers themselves. The last thing is marketing. We've got to get the message out there. We've got to say, hey, we exist. I know that we exist. I know that who we are and what we're doing, but that's because I'm involved in it on a daily basis. I'm aware that most of our potential customers are very, very busy. There's 2 million different technology firms out there all vying for their business. So what's going to make them pick up the phone and contact us? We've got to get a message out to them, something that stands out, articulates how we can help the problems we're trying to solve, and exactly what the product is. So I've compiled a very thorough marketing plan, as you can imagine. With my marketing background, that piece has been fairly easy. And you should begin to see more of our marketing communications over the next couple of weeks. So really, we're going live in May. I want to make sure marketing's ready by mid-March, so we've got a good month and a half of pushing message out there before we're actually ready to go live. So that's it in terms of the core things I've been working on. There's one more bit of news that I'm pretty happy to be able to share, and that is, as anyone that's been following this will know, we've primarily partnered with Job Adder for our go live, just because that for us that was the most logical platform to go with. We have now reached an agreement with both RDB and Vincere that we are going to be integrating directly with those two platforms. So the plan is we get Job Adder live, we obviously make some refinements and tweak on that side of things, and then RDB and Vincere will be coming a few months after the initial go live. So if you're a recruitment agency using either of those platforms, we'd love to start having conversations with you about how automation can actually be brought into either RDB or Vincere. So contact me for that. Love to speak to you about demos for Job Adder, and if anyone wants a free Roy AI t-shirt, then please shout out. We've got a box full of them and more than happy to start posting some of these out. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.